Music is their soapbox, but it's the message that drives them. Edmonton area group Jenesia have a passion to reach people that are looking for justice and desiring to come into relationship with Jesus. Jenesia and Alexander from Spruce Grove, Alberta, welcome to 100 Huntley Street.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's great to have you here. One of the things that I always like to find out about people that are in music, what influenced you? Like, what kind of music were you listening to and that is influencing you today?
It's actually Guitar Hero, the Xbox game, that got me into playing guitar. I got so good at that game, I thought, why not try the real thing? And I just fell in love with it. Finally, a way to express my emotions. It's just such a great way to do that for me.
I tried Guitar Hero, it didn't work for me. So good. How about you?
I'm not good at video games, so I started in music quite young. My parents joke that I was singing before I was forming proper sentences, so I just got immersed in it. I started doing worship music growing up, and then the greats, you know, Aretha Franklin, and I loved listening to even the pop stars like Beyonce and stuff like that. Through my teen years, probably Hillsong was one of the most impactful artists or collectives, I think, that shaped my view on music, especially in the Christian scene.
Yeah, great group from Australia. So, Jenesia, you grew up in the church, so you had opportunity to, you know, test your voice in front of mom and dad in the church?
I think that's one of the greatest gifts that the church offers, is this ability to take people who are at an entry level and give them an opportunity to try. So I definitely got that.
Okay, so let's go back into your story now, Alexander. It's a painful one, and appreciate you coming here to share it. As a child, you were sexually abused.
Yeah, it was 8 years of my life when I was 11 onward, and it really affected me deeply. And when I found music, I found that I was able to express myself in a way that I was unable to before. So music has been a great catalyst for that. And, you know, it was such a difficult process, but thank goodness I found Jenesia and God. She's kind of like my angel, you know? She just inspired me to pursue that, and my life has turned around.
Now, in that experience, I mean, it was horrible, and as we talked about before coming on, as much as you want to share about your story, but it was a family friend that was living with you.
That's right. You know, people who are abused normally are abused by someone close to them, not the stranger that you're warned about. But of course, you need to watch out for those people. You know, he moved in with my family when we were living in Ontario, and he got really close. He was very friendly, and then we moved all the way to Alberta, and he came with us. So we were like his only friends and family. He didn't really go out and meet other people, and I don't know, it just got away from everybody. Nobody noticed what was going on. It happened at night.
Did you not feel like you wanted to maybe share something with your parents, or were you feeling that guilt?
Yeah, I felt guilt and shame, and I think that's why I didn't say anything. I found that my parents were unapproachable, not like for everything, but it's just such a hard thing to talk about, especially when people aren't warned about it. Like,
True.
my parents had no idea that sexual abuse was as common as it was. I don't think a lot of people are. People
don't know what to watch for, as well as one of the more common things with young children who are sexually abused is disassociation. So in order to survive and to cope, they see themselves as almost two different people. So the person that's being abused and the person that can go to school and make friends and do the rest of life. And so I think that's one of the reasons a lot of people don't disclose until adulthood. I felt like there was a real problem connecting with God for me. You know, sometimes you pray and you feel like your prayers aren't answered, you know. It's just, you can sometimes go through a period of silence where you don't feel like God is working in your life. But of course, looking back, I can see all the ways that he really was working in my life. When I graduated from high school, which was a Christian school, I lost a lot of my friends. You know, people just drift. So I think the Christian community I had kind of dispersed, and I wasn't really pursuing God, and I was living a life that definitely wasn't biblical. Trying to escape the pain
that I experienced through sexual abuse. And drugs and alcohol is a great way to forget. And you know, now that I've been clean, I've had to face a lot of those memories, but I'm able to overcome them instead of avoid them.
How did you get clean?
I always wanted to get clean. I knew it was so damaging to do drugs. I was doing it every day. I was drinking a lot. And then I met Jenesia in university, and she was the first person I ever told about my story. Wow. We read Purpose Driven Life together. And all these questions came up. You know, he goes through all sorts of things in your life. I would suggest anybody read that book.
Yeah, the Rick Warren book, it's amazing.
So many things come up. You know how some people get married and you're like, how did you not know that about each other? We never had to struggle through that.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of things.
And I told Jen, I don't want to avoid my story anymore, and I don't want to be doing drugs anymore. And she said, well, just don't. And she was the first person who ever said to me, you don't have to do drugs.
Jenesia, when he shared that, was there a point they said, I'm out of here, this guy is broken?
No, I really feel like God prepared me for him.
In what way? How?
As young as 12 years old, I had people coming up to me that were peers and all different age groups actually, sharing their stories with me of being sexually abused. And I had no tools at the time. I had no resources. I didn't know where to point them other than to pray for them and to try to support them on an emotional level. And so as I aged, I think it was about 18 when I first heard of Little Warriors, which is actually an Edmonton-based or Sherwood Park based organization, and I saw an ad on TV, and so I went and I took their Darkness to Light course, which is now called Prevent It. And so I actually started learning about how to prevent childhood sexual abuse and what signs to look for and what resources are available for people who've actually been through that. And I had a lot of people close to me who that was their story. 1 in 3 females and 1 in 5 males are sexually abused before they're 18 here in Canada. And those are conservative figures because they're based on disclosures. And there are thousands of people who don't disclose. A lot of the people who tell us their story after we do performances and things like that have never disclosed. So I was just broken about it, and I just so badly wanted to help people. And so when we first started talking, I actually brought up how that was something that I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be an advocate. And that's when he started opening up about his story. And so I felt like, you know, it wasn't a shock to me. I wasn't afraid of it. I don't know. I felt equipped, and I felt God's grace. And we were just friends at the time, but we ended up, we met in September and got married the next October.
All right.
So we ended up dating and getting engaged quite quickly, and I think a lot of that had to do with just being ready in advance.
So tell me about the drive of Jenesia. It's not about making hit songs, it's about doing something impacting. Tell me about how that music is a part of bringing the message and healing.
I think music has this insane ability to penetrate any barrier because it's cross-cultural, it's felt, and there's no, I guess, direct dialogue where people feel like they have to defend themselves against an idea or a thought. And so a lyric along with the music that has this feeling associated with it, this emotion, can approach a person in such a different way than a conversation can or a lecture can. And so I think that's what drew me to music. It was this emotional connection. I could hear these lyrics and I could interpret it for myself and receive it in my own time, in my own way. And so that's what we want to be able to do with our music, is to tell our own stories, tell other people's stories who might not have the voice or the platform to do it.
So how can people find out more about Jenesia?
You can find us under Jenesia Music, Jenesia Music, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We try to cover all the social platforms, but we mostly post on Twitter, Facebook. And we have YouTube page.
Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, sorry, Instagram, Facebook.
Hey guys, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
And looking forward to following your career. And Alexander, thank you for being so open and vulnerable. I know that your story is going to bring hope to other people. So thank you both.
We appreciate it.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon, I hope.
Take care.
And if you are dealing with, maybe you've been sexually abused or know somebody that has been sexually abused, please know we have compassionate prayer partners standing by that would love to talk with you, to encourage you. The number 1-866-273-4444. We'll be right back.